In the gentle glow of dawn, when the first light broke through the lingering shadows of night and the air carried whispers of promise and peril, a young man named Joseph awoke with dreams that burned as brightly as the morning sun. From his earliest years, Joseph was marked by visions of grandeur, sheaves of grain bowing in reverence, celestial bodies aligning in tribute, all foretelling a destiny far beyond the ordinary. Yet behind these prophetic dreams lay a calling both intricate and profound, a destiny forged in the crucible of human suffering and divinely inspired resilience. Joseph's journey began in the warmth of his father Jacob's love, in a home where he was cherished above all others. His father's favoritism, symbolized by the brilliant multicolored coat he wore, set him apart from his brothers and stirred jealousy and resentment deep in their hearts. The beauty of that coat, a tangible reminder of special love, became a target for envy. In a moment of bitter cruelty, his brothers stripped him of his beloved garment and cast him into a deep, dark pit. With hearts hardened by jealousy, they sold him into slavery, sending him away into a world that was harsh, unyielding, and utterly foreign. Alone in a strange land, Joseph's spirit trembled like a fragile ember buffeted by cold winds. Yet even in the midst of despair, he clung to an inner hope, a belief that his destiny was greater than the sum of his sufferings. In the silence of his isolation, he poured out his heart in silent prayers, trusting that God's unseen hand was at work even when betrayal and hardship reigned. Though his youthful dreams had brought him scorn, he later proclaimed with quiet conviction, "You meant to harm me, but God meant it for good." These words, born of deep introspection and unwavering faith, became the cornerstone of his resilience. In the household of Potiphar, an influential officer of Pharaoh, Joseph began to rebuild his life from the remnants of his shattered past. Despite the bitterness of betrayal and the sting of separation from all he had known, he labored with an integrity that shone like a beacon. Every task he undertook was an act of devotion, not only to his earthly responsibilities, but to the one who had carried him through the darkest hours. His diligence and unyielding loyalty earned him favor, and soon he rose to a position of trust within the household. But as life often weaves light and darkness together, fate dealt Joseph another cruel blow. Accused falsely by Potiphar's wife, a desperate act born of unfulfilled desire, Joseph was cast into the depths of a prison. Behind cold iron bars in a lonely cell, the relentless march of time seemed to stretch into endless nights. The harshness of prison life could have easily consumed his spirit, yet Joseph's heart remained anchored in faith. In that barren, unforgiving place, he discovered that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. He began to see his trials not as the end, but as a profound preparation for something greater, a stepping stone toward a destiny meticulously crafted by God. It was in the darkness of that prison where Joseph's remarkable gift began to emerge. Tasked with interpreting the dreams of fellow inmates, a cupbearer and a baker, he spoke words imbued with divine insight. His interpretations were not mere guesses, but revelations that offered a glimpse into a future yet to be written. And as if by destiny's own hand, the cupbearer, once restored to favor in Pharaoh's court, remembered Joseph's gift at a time when Pharaoh himself was troubled by perplexing dreams. Summoned from the depths of confinement, Joseph stood before the mighty ruler of Egypt with a calm assurance that belied his earlier suffering. In a room filled with the scent of incense and the murmurs of anxious advisors, he unveiled the meaning behind Pharaoh's dreams, visions foretelling 7 years of abundant harvest, followed by 7 lean years of famine. His words, imbued with clarity and wisdom, were a divine call to prepare, to store, and to preserve life in the face of an impending crisis. Struck by the depth of his insight and the light that shone in his eyes, Pharaoh elevated Joseph to a position of great authority, placing him second only to the king himself. Now a leader in a vast empire, Joseph found himself at the helm of Egypt's destiny. With the weight of the nation's future resting on his shoulders, he set about organizing the granaries, preparing the people for the years of hardship that were to come. Yet even as he rose to unprecedented heights, the memories of his past, of betrayal, isolation, and suffering, remained etched in his heart each day. As he oversaw the storehouses brimming with grain, he was reminded of the pit from which he had been cast and the bitter words of those who had once wished him harm. Then came the day when the long-expected famine struck, a time when the desperate cries of a starving nation echoed far and wide. The crisis extended beyond Egypt's borders, reaching the very lands from which Joseph had been torn away. In a twist of fate, his estranged brothers, who had once plotted against him, arrived in Egypt seeking relief. Standing before them, Joseph was confronted with the ghosts of his past. The same brothers who had sold him into slavery now stood humbled, unaware that the man before them had risen to such prominence. In that charged moment, the enormity of forgiveness lay before him like an uncharted expanse. The memories of his pain, each act of betrayal, each moment of despair, pulsed through him. And yet, amidst that storm of emotions, Joseph found a strength beyond measure, the power to forgive. With a voice that trembled with both sorrow and resolute grace, he spoke the words that would forever define his legacy. "You meant to harm me, but God meant it for good." In forgiving them, he did not merely absolve their sins. He transformed his own heart, freeing it from the shackles of bitterness and opening the door to reconciliation. The act of forgiveness flowed from Joseph like a healing river, mending old wounds and restoring what had been broken. His willingness to forgive, even in the face of the deepest betrayal, was a testament to his unwavering loyalty to God. It was a demonstration that the power of divine grace can transform the darkest of circumstances into stepping stones toward redemption. With his family reunited and the path of reconciliation unfolding, Joseph's story became a living testimony to the resilience of the human spirit when anchored in faith. In the days that followed, as famine ravaged the land and uncertainty loomed large, Joseph's leadership provided a beacon of hope. Every decision he made, every measure he implemented was a quiet proclamation that no trial is insurmountable when one remains steadfast in loyalty to God. In the quiet moments of the night, as the Egyptian winds whispered through the fields, Joseph would often retreat to a secluded spot. Beneath a vast canopy of stars, he would reflect on his tumultuous journey, a journey that had taken him from a pit of despair to the very pinnacles of destiny. There, with the cool night air enveloping him, he murmured heartfelt prayers of gratitude and determination, affirming that his struggles were but a prelude to a greater purpose. He recalled the comforting wisdom passed down through the ages, finding solace in the truth that every hardship, every moment of pain was part of a divine plan. In the stillness of the night, his heart swelled with a quiet assurance that even when the road ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, his loyalty to God would be his guiding light. The echoes of his past, of dreams once scorned and a family once divided, had now woven themselves into a tapestry of resilience, redemption, and hope. Dear listener, as you journey through your own life, you may face trials that seem insurmountable, moments when the weight of betrayal or hardship threatens to overwhelm your spirit. In these times, remember the legacy of Joseph, a man who, despite being cast into a pit, endured the harshest of fates and ultimately rose to fulfill a destiny that was far greater than his suffering. Embrace the power of forgiveness, for it is through forgiving those who have wronged you that you free your heart to receive God's boundless grace. Stand firm in your loyalty to God, even when circumstances conspire against you, for it is in these moments of profound vulnerability that the light of His promises shines the brightest. May you find in Joseph's story the courage to rise above your struggles, the strength to forgive, and the resilience to pursue your destiny with unwavering faith. Trust in the divine plan that works in every hardship, transforming each setback into a stepping stone toward a future filled with hope and redemption. Walk boldly into the promise of a new day. Surrender your fears and know that every trial you encounter is but a thread in the magnificent tapestry of your destiny, a tapestry woven by the loving hands of God.